Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and I'm back with you again today to do a little tour of all of my knitting and crochet books. I don't have a huge collection, but I have quite a few, a combo of things I've purchased, things I've been gifted, and a lot of things I've picked up at the thrift store. But some of them are pretty cool, so I thought we'd maybe do a little walkthrough of them. But to do that, I have to get on the floor because they're on the bottom shelf because they're the heaviest. So let's get there. So here we are. I have two of these shelves and I keep all my knitting and crochet books right here. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's quite a few because most of them are pretty thin. Now let's move one of my many disco balls out of the way and get to it. And you're getting a very intimate look at my shelves now. You see everything that's up. This is going in no particular order. We're just going to take off the shelves and take a look. This first one is Knitting on the Go, 25 Chic and Easy Patterns by Chris Percival. And technically, this is not a book. It is a series of cards. There's all sorts of patterns labeled like beginner to a little bit more advanced. So you can take the card with you. It's a super cute idea. I was given this so long ago. I don't think I've knit anything from it because when I was younger, I really just did not have the coordination to do like significant, like I could not figure out knitting for the longest time to get good enough at it. I crocheted off and on for a long time and I could do the more serious stuff with that, but this kind of stuff kind of hung out. Similarly, we have this. It's also very faded, as you can tell, because I've had this for a long time. One Skein, 30 Quick Projects to Knit and Crochet by Leigh Radford. Tons of cute stuff in here. Some felting and things too. Once again, haven't knit anything from it, but it's kind of just sentimental at this point. Very Y2K for sure. Like early 2000s vibes, but some of it's cute. I don't know. We're just going through some of the ones that maybe don't have as much meaning to me, but here's another one of the longtime hangers around of books. That's Crochet One Skein Wonders, edited by Judy Durant and Edie Ekman. 101 projects from crocheters around the world. And I would say, oh, look at that. This was from Christmas 2016 for my grandparents. So I was 16 years old because I'm a 2000s baby. Tons of cute stuff in here. Some fun shawls. I mean, as a teenager, what teenagers out here knitting shawls? I'm sure, and like crocheting shawls, I'm sure there are some, but I definitely tried some of these things. I don't think I have any of them, but like there's some fun hats in here. I definitely tried this hat right here. I know I did. There's even some toys. Oh my gosh, there's a lobster. There's a lobster. Where did it go? Oh, I gotta find it now. Oh, there it is. Look at that. How cute. Louis the lobster. But it's like a whole bunch of designers and stuff. Super cute. This one, 1000 Great Knitting Motifs by Lucy, I'm not sure, Roberts. I picked this up at a thrift store probably in the last couple years, and it's filled with a whole bunch of color work motifs. I don't know if you can see. Just trying to give you a flip without giving you everything. I haven't used any patterns from this specifically, I don't think. Maybe I have. But I thought it was a really fun little resource. I probably paid a couple bucks for it. They've got like some bigger motifs, some repeat motifs. Just fun. Like there's some flowers in there. Yeah, so that's cool. Oh my gosh, it just came out because it's one of those. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's one of those spiral bound things. It's kind of in a binder. Super cute. I mean, I definitely think if you're looking for motifs, it's a good one. Because there's 1,000. That's a whole lot. Next, we've got a little one I picked up pretty recently. And this is 96 Stitches Knit Stitch Guide by Rita Weiss. This one, like it said, it's just a handful of knit stitches. I picked this up for a couple bucks at a used bookstore. I don't really have like a ton of knitting stitch books. I have crochet stitch books, as you will see. So that was kind of to add to that. Next, we have a book that did not come from a thrift store. It came from my mom for Christmas because I asked for it. And that's the Cocoa Knit Sweater Workshop by Julie Weissenberger. This one, I actually still haven't knit anything out of. I really liked the idea of like the function of the patterns that Coco Knits has and like their theory of sweater design. I think since this came out, a lot of more popular designers have integrated similar techniques into their designs. I don't know if it's from this or if it's just a general theme overall, but at the time I was like, oh, look at these amazing shoulders and how tailored everything is. That's amazing. And it's also a workshop to help you get like the absolute perfect fit. And they have a bunch of kind of like sample sweaters you can do this with, I believe. But I've still yet to knit anything from them. But very cool resource. Glad to have it. Next, we have a fun one that came from the thrift store, and that is Calf Knits Again by Calf Bassett. I just picked this up at Goodwill because the designs were, I don't know, super sick. They're very cool. And I didn't know that he was like pretty famous because I'm a young person and this book is, I don't know, I'm going to go with 90s. Is it 90s? It's definitely from pre-90s. Ooh, 2007, close enough. I'm kidding. Don't come for me for that. But he's got these amazing colorwork motifs that are so cool and so inspiring. I would love to knit like one of the vests in here, but it also requires so many colors that that's kind of hardcore. So maybe someday. But the book is very cool. The patterns are very cool. It's very inspiring to look at. I took a printmaking class my senior year of college for my art credit. And it was a really amazing class. I loved it. But we did like a show and tell every week where someone brought something in, and I brought in this and another knitting book for my show and tell. I'll actually skip to that one then. The other one that I brought in was The Art of Fair Isle Knitting, History, Technique, Color, and Patterns by Anne Fieldston. Also came from a thrift store. So it's all about, like it says, Fair Isle knitting. Oh my gosh. It still has a sticker from the original knitting shop that came from in Concord, New Hampshire. See, like a lot of text. I haven't read through the whole thing. I flipped through some of it, talking about just the history of knitting with like samples of old pieces and techniques. Very cool. And then a few patterns at the end to cap it off, which I should probably look through because I really want to do some more Fair Isle knitting this winter. I would really like to do a cardigan for myself, like an all over Fair Isle cardigan. So that's in my future. Next, I will do this one I bought myself. You see it's got some little markers in it. And that is Crochet Every Way Stitch Dictionary, 125 Essential Stitches to Crochet in 3 Ways by Dora Orstein. And when it comes to crochet, this is absolutely like the book that I have spent the most time looking through. One, it's a beautifully laid out book. Look at all these color pages. And each color is like a different category of stitch. So beautiful. Amazing motifs. We've got like, she categorizes it by like closed, open, like laces, shells, and like bubble type stitches, popcorn stitches, whatever you want to call them. A great resource, super fun if you want to like play around with different stuff or whatever. No edgings in this book, but lots of great patterns for other things. Next we have Designing Knitwear by Deborah Newton, another thrift pickup that I have not really looked through. I feel like I have not been like on my like knitting book reading grind lately. I've been on my fiction book reading grind, obviously. Which, just a side note, I have not read all of these. Read a lot of other books that came from the library. I've read maybe half of the ones on these shelves that are up here. So, but this one's like an older book, definitely older, talking about designing knitwear. I just thought it was interesting and something that I might come back to and look at just to see what kind of tips are in here. There's some different like stitch pattern advice and fit advice, which I am sure has definitely changed since this book was put out because things are always changing. In this era, they were probably designing like 4 or 5 sizes. These days, you need to design a lot more, like grade for a lot more sizes. So things are different. Another book I purchased myself. This is the Ultimate Crochet Bible, complete reference with step-by-step techniques by Jane Crowfoot. And I believe Jane Crowfoot is either the person who designed the Persian tiles blanket or the Eastern Jewels colorway for that blanket, and that is this guy, which is I made, and it's so beautiful, and I adore it. And it lives on my little podcasting chair. This one also has some tabs in it, all about like how to crochet and different techniques and some stitch patterns, but just a good resource to have. I have not picked this one up as much as the stitch pattern one, but it's still like good to have around. I bought this a handful of years ago when I was really getting more seriously into crochet garments. This was before I got really good at knitting. I kind of knit in the past and I just hadn't gotten back into it as an adult seriously yet. And so that was where I was at. Another design related book, we have The Beginner's Guide to Writing Knitting Patterns by Kate Atherley. This came from my grandmother. This one's a little more modern. My books are falling down now because they're not propped up. So it's a lot about grading and how to write patterns and all sorts of stuff that's interesting and resources. I've flicked through it some. Haven't done a thorough read because I'm a bad person, I guess. I don't know. But cool book. I recommend. Next, we've got another thrift store find, Aaron's and Celtics, the best of knitters. Who is this by? It doesn't say on the front. Does it say on the side? It just says XRX Books. I guess that's the author. Oh, it's some kind of knitting magazine or something. But there's some really cool old cable patterns. Just fun. Look at those baubles. Oh my gosh, crazy. Some tips on sizing, etc. A little history in there. You know, all the good stuff. Some big charts. Some men's ones too. Maybe I'll look through that for my husband, but just another fun one. A lot of these are just resources for ideas and thoughts and what I might want to do. This one is another more recent used bookstore find, Knitting Beyond the Edge by Nikki Epstein, the essential collection of decorative finishes. Ooh, this one's long. Oh, still got the receipt in it from when I got it and the price. But this is all about like knitting edges. I did flip through this of various types. You probably can't see it. I don't know why I was just holding it down there. It's just so hard. Some beading. Wow, some crazy collar edges they're showing in here. But another neat resource. It's just cool to have some of these things. So like if I wanted to modify something, I have resources to figure out like what I would want to do to it and that kind of thing. Yeah. So there's one more book that I just realized I keep on hand at all times, so it is not on the shelf. So I'll go grab that. 1 second. So my last book is the classic 52 Weeks of Socks, which is a Lane magazine publishing book. I have knit a number of these. I would love to knit more. I have some marked in here. I know there's a 52 Weeks of Socks volume 2 now, but that one more focuses on colorwork socks, I feel like, or at least there's more of them. There's only a few in this, and I don't really think I'm a colorwork socks kind of girl, so I haven't bought that one. But I gotta say, this thing's like a Bible to me with socks. It's so inspiring. The designs are so beautiful. Like, there's so many options. Like, any kind of sock knitter you are, there's something. There's even a few slippers in here. I highly recommend this if you want to get into some cooler socks. I think if I'm not really in a sock knitting phase right now, and if I was, it would probably be vanilla socks. Sorry, it just got dark in here. But I highly recommend this. I know everyone has it and everyone talks about it, but it's absolutely for good reason. It's a very cool book. So, yeah. That's all I've got for you for knitting. If you have any interest in the other books that I have, because I have a whole other shelf, let me know. Maybe we can do a short little video about that. But I enjoyed chatting with you. Let me know if you have any of these books or you've heard any of these books in the comments. It would be very cool. And thank you so much for watching. Happy knitting.